afternoon and welcome to Live at 4 on this Thursday. It is Pet Day.
That's right. We're going to be taking your calls later this hour for Carrie Donahue from Full Circle Holistic Veterinary Care on Monroe Street.
Start thinking up your questions. We'll let you know when to call in. But first, here's what's making news on this Thursday. How the Madison Metropolitan School District is addressing a BB gun fired at a student at a bus stop.
A group of UW students are voicing their opinion about a professor that they say is abusive.
And a major step forward in the impeachment inquiry today. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi says it's time for the articles of impeachment against President Trump.
Let's take a look outside today. It was another beautiful December day, sunny and mild. Look at that. That must have been the sunrise this morning. Beautiful.
Just a little colder, the weather words, not a lot. Let's head out to the backyard. Dana has a look at our first alert forecast.
It's going to be a little colder for tomorrow. The good news, though, with that little system passing through tonight, it's not going to bring any precipitation. Clouds, though. We do have a mostly cloudy sky this evening. Doppler is going to stay nice and quiet. Our breeze calming down a little bit in the single digits for most of the area coming from the south. So today it did feel very nice in the sunshine, but tomorrow, again, it is going to be a little chillier outside. Overnight will only fall to the upper 20s. We drop quite a bit after sunset. But we don't fall too much because of the cloud deck overhead. We stay above average through the weekend, and then heading into next week, quite a little cold spell moving in. We'll take a closer look at what's ahead through the weekend and next week in just a few minutes. Right now on the roads, we don't have any accidents to report right now. In fact, looking at the Beltline at Park Street, both east and westbound are moving along. We don't even have any delays currently on the eastbound side, so if you can pack up and head out, maybe a good idea. Around Middleton, all is smooth. Wanakee looks pretty good right now as well. Janesville, no delays through all of Rock County. Now, from Janesville to the Beltline, it'll be about 25 minutes, 16 minutes to get from Sauk City to Middleton, and from Sun Prairie to downtown, about 17 minutes this evening.
All right, Dana, thank you so much.
First at 4, grad students on the UW campus voiced their concerns about an abusive professor who's returning to campus next month.
Those students protested at Engineering Mall today about the behavior of Professor Akbar Saeed. Eric Franke is here now with more details. Eric?
Susan and Mark, after one of his graduate students died 3 years ago by suicide, the university investigated and suspended Saeed for 2 years, saying he had violated the UW's policy on hostile and intimidating behavior. Now he's set to return in the spring semester in an administrative role. These students delivered a petition at this rally asking for further investigation, delivering it to the provost, Carl Scholes. That petition, signed by more than 2,000 people, they say they are unsatisfied with his punishment. They believe he should have been fired.
Once we saw the details, it was a big revelation for us, and a lot of us became upset with the outcome of the investigation and also the limited punishment that was placed on the professor, because we all thought this was really egregious abuse.
It stems from original investigative reporting in the Wisconsin State Journal. The university says when he returns, Saeed will not be teaching. He will not have any contact with students, but those on hand today aren't accepting that. They say Saeed's hostile, abusive, and intimidating behavior led to the 2016 suicide of John Brady, who was working towards his PhD in the UW's Wireless Communications and Sensing Laboratory under Saeed's supervision. Mark and Susan.
All right, Eric, thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. One day after the first House Judiciary impeachment hearing, Democrats announced they are moving ahead with plans to impeach President Trump. Natalie Brand has more from Capitol Hill.
President Trump says he's not worried about impeachment staining his legacy.
No, not at all. No, not at all. It's a hoax. It's a hoax. It's a big fat hoax.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced Democrats are moving forward with articles of impeachment against the president, alleging he abused his office. House Democrats argue their investigation shows the president tried to pressure Ukraine into announcing an investigation of a political rival.
The president leaves us no choice but to act, because he is trying to corrupt, once again, the election.
During a news conference, Speaker Pelosi forcefully rejected a question on whether she hates President Trump.
I don't hate anyone. I was raised in a way that is a heart full of love, and always prayed for the president. And I still pray for the president. I pray for the president all the time. So don't mess with me when it comes to words like that.
The Judiciary Committee could begin drafting articles of impeachment as soon as next week. The White House is already preparing for a trial in the Senate.
The president has indicated he wants to hear from Congressman Adam Schiff, the whistleblower, and even former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter.
How do you not do that? Is Joe Biden insulated? Is his son insulated somehow because his father's running for president?
Biden had a heated exchange at a campaign event Thursday about his son's work for a Ukrainian energy company.
You're selling access to the president just like he was.
You're a damn liar, man. That's not true.
Biden also says he won't voluntarily testify in a Senate impeachment trial. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The final articles of impeachment will drive the Democrats' strategy and their decisions about calling witnesses.
The shooter in yesterday's deadly attack at the Pearl Harbor Naval Base has now been identified as 22-year-old Gabriel Romero. The Navy says the U.S. sailor shot 3 Defense Department employees, then killed himself, but the motive is unclear. The gunman in his Navy uniform set off panic Wednesday afternoon when he shot and killed 2 male civilian shipyard workers before turning the gun on himself.
The shooter, who has tentatively been identified as an active duty sailor assigned to USS Columbia, is also deceased by an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound.
An investigation will uncover if the gunman knew any of the men he shot. We're just 2 days away now from the anniversary of the Pearl Harbor attack. The Pearl Harbor Memorial is about a mile away from where the shooting took place.
An update from Oshkosh. The Winnebago County Sheriff's Office says a teen is in jail after stabbing a school resource officer. A 16-year-old student was arrested by special agents of the Wisconsin Department of Justice. He faces a charge of attempted first-degree intentional homicide. Officer Michael Wisnick was stabbed by the student in his office. Wisnick was then fired his gun at the student, striking him once. Police say it wasn't just one student hit by a BB getting off the bus on Tuesday afternoon, but 2. A 13-year-old girl struck in the arm and a 14-year-old girl hit in the hand.
As the 13-year-old boys arrested yesterday have their first day in juvenile court, we are hearing from the Madison Metropolitan School District on how it's responding to the incident. Madeline O'Neill has the latest. Maddie?
Well, the 13-year-old boy accused of shooting the BB gun on the bus, and the other 13-year-old arrested for allegedly bringing the BB gun into Jefferson Middle School yesterday are home tonight, released to their mother's custody by the judge this afternoon. Both are court-ordered to have no contact with each other or the victims, meaning they will not be able to ride the bus to school. They're also not allowed to make any threats or have weapons of any kind, real or fake. MMSD Interim Superintendent Dr. Jane Belmore says this is a serious incident, and she believes the school staff did everything in line with their current safety procedures.
We worked very closely with the school, with the families, and with our police department. And so even though it's hard to describe to the public what's going on at the moment is happening, we felt very comfortable that things were in good shape there.
Belmore says the district always tries to learn from incidents like this. She encourages parents to keep an open line of communication with students. If you see something, say something. Belmore also encourages parents to reach out to the district with any concerns, and the district's safety procedures can be found on their website. That's mmsd.org/safety.
Maddie, thank you.
There is a new option for those in need of memory care. Grace is opening 12 new hospice memory care suites and its campus in Fitchburg. While Grace has served people with Alzheimer's and dementia in the past, this is the first time they have had a secure facility for them. Each room is private with its own bathroom. Officials say more and more people are in need of memory care facilities.
Our population at a Grace, about 22% last year had Alzheimer's or dementia diagnosis as primary or secondary. So the need is growing.
To qualify for the rooms, patients must also qualify for hospice care. The new facility opens later this month.
Still to come tonight at 4, Sports Director Jay Wilson will be here with a preview of the Big Ten championship game this weekend as Wisconsin takes on Ohio State.
And if you want to go to the game, there are a few tickets still available. We'll tell you how you can get yours when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, Live at 4.
Well, we're just a few days away now from the Big Ten championship game. This is the Badgers' 6th time going.
And that's a big feat since the game has only been around for 9 years. Officials with the UW say they've sold about 8,000 tickets for Saturday's game at the Lucas Oil Arena in Indianapolis. There are a few tickets left for sale at the Camp Randall ticket office or on StubHub, but expect to see lots of Badger fans making the trip to Indy without a ticket.
We've seen it in the past that Badger fans travel well. Indianapolis is easy to get to, and we've got a long history of having big events in Indianapolis. Championship games, Final Fours, and the Badgers show up in Indianapolis.
If you're not headed to the game, you can watch it on Fox 47 Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Well, it's almost the weekend. Oh, no, first let's take a look at Wall Street. The Dow Industrials up 28 points. The NASDAQ up 4. The S&P 500 gaining 4 as well. Now, it's almost the weekend in the 608.
We're getting there, and here's a look at what's going on around town this weekend. It is officially the holiday season, and that means Christmas music is everywhere.
You can get into the spirit of Christmas with A Christmas Carol live this weekend at the Overture Center's Capitol Theater. The play will feature the classic story of Ebenezer Scrooge. There's multiple performances this weekend. For more information and tickets, head to the overture.org website.
That is a Madison tradition.
If classical Christmas music is more your thing, there's a chance to hear Handel's Messiah perform live. The Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra will join the Festival Choir of Madison to present the legendary piece of music that was first composed, by George Frederick Handel in 1741. The performance tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at the Black Hawk Church.
That's another good Madison tradition. They
is.
do that every year. If you're looking for a unique Christmas gift or just some new decorations for the house, there is an event for you.
The 10th annual Crafty Fair is this weekend at the Goodman Community Center and next door at Brassworks. The fair runs from 10 to 4 on Saturday and 10 to 2 on Sunday. More information can be found at the craftyfair.org website.
And that's all very fun stuff. It's all locally created, so if you're looking for a unique gift, it's really the place to be.
Now, if you're feeling sort of bah humbug about the holidays right now, maybe some football will cheer you up.
There is plenty of Big Ten championship watch parties going on around town this weekend. The Badgers, as you know, taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes Saturday in Indianapolis at 7 o'clock. Besides deciding the 2019 Big Ten champion, it will help decide what bowl game the Badgers will end up playing later this month.
And get this from Madison Magazine for all the best in the Madison area. And there's more to come at 4 later on. We're going to talk with News 3 Now Sports Director Jay Wilson.
And then coming up tonight at 5, Edgerton schools are adopting a policy to fight bullying, and they're becoming just the 3rd district in our area to do so. Why they say it's necessary, coming up tonight at 5.
For consistent, reliable storm tracking, watch First Alert Weather.
Take a look at this. The Christmas spirit is definitely alive in this Sydney, New York home. Bobby Falick loves Christmas and decorates with dozens of trees every year. Each tree has a different theme, including sunflowers, airplanes, and butterflies. She started decking the halls in August and just finished this week. Bobby says the decorations make her feel warm and cozy and hope visitors feel the same. I put this story in just for you two.
I know, I love it. Bobby, you're a girl after my own heart.
Oh my
I love
gosh.
it.
The themes are what's so cool to me, because ours is very much so a hodgepodge of all sorts of whatnots.
I like those.
They have character, right? It's a bunch of decorations from when I was little, when Jared was little, and now we have Penny and Thor decorations also. But there is no theme. Wait,
you better get busy. You're going to keep up with Bobby here.
Yeah. So I mean, that's my goal eventually, is to be that lady.
Well, you're dressed for it.
I'm getting there. I'm close right now.
In the spirit.
In the spirit. If I start in August, we'll be good. So the weather, of course, this weekend isn't going to feel very Christmassy outside. Not white currently, and temperatures are going to climb up a little bit. But next week, it is really going to cool on down. We'll take a closer look at what's ahead with your forecast right after the break. I could look at those Christmas light videos all day long. Right now, things do look pretty nice outside. Sunset was just a little bit ago. We have a little bit of color coming through on the SMS. Downtown, not too bad. Not seeing a lot of traffic and not seeing a lot of sunlight now that it has set. The cloud coverage also building in, eating away at that light. Earlier today, we did have a mostly clear sky, and you can see that cloud coverage really starting to build in from the west to the east. Doppler track is quiet. This quick-moving little trough is bringing the cloud coverage. It's bringing the cooler temperatures tomorrow. Usually would also bring a little bit of light flurries or light snow or light drizzle if things were a little warmer outside, but it just doesn't seem the case for us tonight. We will stay dry. Our dew points are just so low that the chance for any sort of snow or any precipitation at all to build in is just not really likely. Breeze from the south right now, mostly cloudy sky overnight. If anyone was hoping to stargaze, tonight's probably not the night to do that. For tomorrow, though, we will get the sunshine back. Our breeze will be pretty light during the day for Friday, but it is going to be quite a bit cooler in the afternoon. And just because of that shift in our wind direction coming from the northwest rather than a little southerly flow. But notice during the afternoon, really staying nice and sunny. Stargazers, Friday night's your better option. Partly cloudy skies, especially to the northeast, but from Grant County stretching to Dane County, things should be pretty calm and quiet and pretty clear for Friday night into Saturday morning. Saturday temperatures will be above average. We have this southerly flow. It's going to help us climb into the 40s, and Sunday we stay in the 40s as that warmer air just continues to lift on in. Nothing building in for the next several days. At this point, it's been a long time since we've had this stretch of dry weather, so enjoy it, because then our next system builds on in heading to the second half of the weekend. The timing of this has bumped back just a little bit. For Sunday, there's just a slight chance for showers in the afternoon. It's not until overnight that the better chance for some light rain will develop. Temperatures will be close to or just above freezing overnight into early Monday morning. So right now it does seem likely that it will be light rainfall, but during the day on Monday, our temperatures are going to fall. This cold front passes through, so we transition from light rain to light snow. Now the ground's going to be very warm. The ground's going to be pretty saturated from the rain in front of the snow, so we won't see a lot of accumulation coming on through, but we will have some light snow and flurries to wrap up the day on Monday. We'll definitely see a little more accumulation to areas further north. Overnight temperatures will drop to the upper 20s. That's still above average. Our overnight lows really should be in the lower 20s for this time of year, but because of that cloudy sky, we just really won't cool down as much. We'll steadily become partly cloudy by early in the morning, or later in the morning, I should say, early in the day on Friday. Tomorrow afternoon, our high temperatures will be in the mid-30s. A mostly sunny sky in the afternoon. It's going to be just a little colder outside with that breeze from the north-northwest. But again, only 6 to 12 miles per hour, so it's really not going to be too windy outside. 35 in the sunshine with a light breeze. That's pretty okay for a December afternoon. Mid-30s on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, we climb quite a bit above average, close to 40 for our highs on Saturday with a partly sunny sky. Temperatures will not fall much heading into Sunday as some more clouds build on in. It's going to be a little breezy outside on Sunday with those shower chances later in the day, but really only a slight chance for rain on Sunday. So that gives us another dry stretch for the weekend. That system starts to develop Monday night, bringing us the chance for some light rain. And then most of that light snowfall will develop for Monday as temperatures fall during the day. Next week, we're looking at a very cold stretch. We'll be close to 20 for afternoon highs on Tuesday. We fall to the single digits overnight into Wednesday morning. Wednesday, we get to the upper teens, back to the single digits. And then heading towards the end of the week, it seems like temperatures are going to stay in the mid-20s, which is quite a bit below average. So enjoy the sunshine in the 30s. Well, we can.
And the 40s.
And the 40s, because it's going to get a little cooler.
We'll be wondering about a white Christmas pretty soon, too.
We will. That's still a little bit out in the long range, of course, but something that once it starts getting closer and closer, we'll be monitoring very closely.
Yes.
And next week in the Southern Caribbean, what do you think it will be?
Oh, get out of here.
Aruba?
This one's going on a cruise, long cruise.
We'll be living vicariously through him next week. That's the plan.
Listen, last year on the cruise, it was 40s here the
I know,
whole time,
that's right.
So you never know.
Aruba versus the 40s. This is still not fair. All right.
Thanks, Dana.
NASA is conducting a mission to unlock the mysteries of our sun.
Chris Martinez tells us what scientists hope to learn in this unprecedented study.
Traveling at speeds of more than 200,000 miles per hour, the Parker Solar Probe is giving scientists a look at the heart of our solar system. Its mission, study the sun by getting as close as possible.
Parker Solar Probe has gone inside the orbit of Mercury, so that's closer than we've ever gone before.
NASA launched the probe last year, and so far it's made 3 passes around the sun, with 21 more still to come. Each pass brings it closer to the surface. Scientists say the data the spacecraft sends back is helping them understand the sun's outer atmosphere and solar winds, which they've found move faster than they expected. That can help them better predict solar storms, which can create disruptions on Earth.
It can cause problems like problems with our GPS. It can cause problems with our electrical power grids. It can create beautiful things like the aurora, the northern lights.
The probe is protected from the sun's extreme heat by carbon composite shields, which won't last forever.
Eventually, we won't be able to hold the heat shield between the spacecraft and the sun anymore, and that's when the mission will end.
Between now and then, scientists say the mission will give them a new understanding of our sun and also help them devise new ways to protect astronauts from conditions in space during long trips through the solar system. Chris Martinez, CBS News.
That is fascinating.
It is.
The Parker Solar Probe's mission will continue through 2025.
Its next pass by the sun will happen in January.
Well, still to come at 4, it's a huge weekend for the football Badgers.
When we come back, they head to Indianapolis to take on Ohio State for the Big Ten title. Sports director Jay Wilson has a preview of the big game when Live at 4 continues.
There's a postcard for you.
That's a beautiful
shot. What a
shot.
great shot that is. UW campus, sun setting on Madtown. The Wisconsin Badgers headed to Indianapolis to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes this Saturday in the Big Ten Championship.
And here with a preview of the big game is sports director Jay Wilson. I'm already eating the lining of my stomach. There is so much at stake for this game. This is a big one.
Well, and recent memory tells us that the Badgers could be in a bit of trouble. They're 16.5-point underdogs, which is a huge, huge point spread for a championship game. And 5 weeks ago in Columbus, in beautiful, rainy Columbus, Ohio,
remember?
Kevin Lewis and I stood out in the rain and watched them get pretty well romped, 38-7. Things have changed a little since then. The Badgers have won 4 in a row, but Ohio State is still Ohio State. They're the most talented team in the country. They're the '1 ranked team in the country, and it'll be quite a challenge for Wisconsin. And you remember the last time Wisconsin played Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship? You know what the final was? 59-0 Ohio State.
Oh, boy.
That was when Gary Anderson was the coach.
So what's at stake here?
Well, if Wisconsin could knock off Ohio State. Well, first of all, it'll be one of the biggest wins they could ever get. But they're probably not playing to get into the national playoff. That's a pretty big jump. They're ranked 8th in the rankings right now. You got to be in the top 4, and there's just too much to get there. But a berth in the Rose Bowl clearly is on the line. Right now they're 8th. Penn State is 10th. If it ended today, the Badgers would likely go Rose Bowl. If Wisconsin gets blown out by Ohio State, Penn State doesn't play this week, that could flip it. That could put Penn State in a position for the Rose Bowl. So you just have to wait and see how those announcements, by the way, for bowls come out Sunday. So we'll know right after noon on Sunday which bowl game they'd go to. But
they'll go to a bowl game regardless.
Oh, no question. Yeah, big win season. They're certainly going to go somewhere nice. If they don't go to the Rose Bowl, it'd probably be one of the New Year's Day Florida Bowls, something like that. But it's going to be a challenge. I mean, they've shut down Jonathan Taylor. They were one of the few teams to shut down Jonathan Taylor this year.
Right.
And if the Badgers can get him going, well, that maybe opens everything up. And Ohio State turns it over a couple times. You never know. I mean, there's
they
some
may
weird
not
things
win,
that happen.
but they have to play well. To get to the Rose Bowl.
I think if they stay within a couple of touchdowns, that might be enough to keep them in the Rose Bowl picture. But again, you never know until Sunday.
And when's the last time we were at the Rose Bowl?
Oh my gosh,
it's been a while.
I can't even remember.
I think you and I were there.
I think you and I were there.
2012, maybe?
I can't remember last week. Are you kidding?
I know.
It's been a few years.
Was Russell Wilson, was that the game?
That would have been that would have been New Year's Day 2012, yeah. Well,
so that was probably the last time.
Wow. that was the last time?
I hope so.
Goodness
I really
gracious.
hope.
That's why they play the games, though.
That's exactly right.
There you go.
And you and Kevin are heading to Indy.
8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Oh, there's,
that was a nice picture of you guys.
One last hurrah for you.
Father and son there.
One last hurrah.
Yeah, Jay, this is bittersweet for us here. Sunday is your last day here with us.
It's not bittersweet for me.
No, it's exciting for you.
It's exciting for me.
And we're excited for you.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you, I'm resigning. It's not retiring. I'm resigning. And tomorrow was going to be my last day because that's the 39-year anniversary of when Mark Shapiro hired me back in at Channel 27. But with the Badgers going to the game, it seemed odd to do live shots on Friday and fly back Saturday before the game. So we're gonna go through the whole thing. But yeah, Sunday will be.
Before we get to that, let's bid a farewell to what is known as the Dean of Madison Sportscasters. Take a look.
Well, it's a rainy night in Seattle, that is for sure. And tomorrow's NFC Championship game is 22 hours and counting for the Badgers in the Final Four against Kentucky on Channel 3. In Buffalo with the Badger men's basketball team, Jay Wilson, News 3 Sports.
It is a career that spanned nearly 40 years and took Jay to the front row of some of the state's biggest sports stories. For Jay, it was a dream come true.
Well, growing up, I used to watch a lot of sports on TV. I read the sports page in the newspaper every day, and I listened to about 5 baseball games a night on the radio. And my mom always said, Jay, don't pay so much attention to sports because you're never going to make a living at it.
But he made his mother proud. Channel 27 sports director Mark Shapiro hired Jay right after he graduated from the UW Journalism School in 1980 as the weekend sportscaster. He tried a brief stint at a Milwaukee station before returning to Channel 27. He became known as the Dean of Madison Television Sports, covering the local high school scene and the Badger football team's rise in prominence that led to the 1994 Rose Bowl.
The very first Rose Bowl, coming off the field after the celebration, after the post-game interviews and running to the locker room, and it's just hectic, and there's Jay sitting there with a camera.
Coach Alvarez, here's Barry Alvarez, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm doing this with you, Jay.
We got a really thing going here.
This is nice. I like meeting you like this. Just said, can I get an interview? And I said, absolutely. I thought so much of Jay, naturally I stopped.
During those years, Jay was also the play-by-play voice for the state basketball tournaments. But in 2006, Jay decided the rigors of local television had taken their toll, and he retired from WKOW. For a couple of years, he was a reporter for the Big Ten Network and Fox Sports Wisconsin. But WISC was fortunate to lure Jay back. In 2008, he became sports director and joined the anchor teams at 6 and 10. A role that took him coast to coast, covering a Super Bowl, 2 Final Four bids, and a number of bowl games, including the granddaddy of them all.
It's almost time for the 97th Rose Bowl game between the Wisconsin Badgers and the TCU Horned Frogs.
Jay continued his passion for local sports coverage, leading the station efforts on Prep Mania, football and basketball games, and he was always willing to share with us his thoughts on playoff brackets.
I think Wisconsin
I'm going to go against all the so-called experts and say Wisconsin.
Did you pack your bracket board?
Well, we went to the Rite Aid Pharmacy just down the street from the Badgers Hotel, and look at this funky board we got.
Jay's been honored to be inducted into the Wisconsin Football Coaches Association, the Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association, and the Chicago Academy of Arts and Sciences Silver Circle Award for his lifetime achievement in local broadcasting. For all of this, we salute Jay Wilson, Dean of Madison TV Sports, as he prepares for his next step in a storied career.
About a half hour away now, playing their Sweet 16 game here in Philadelphia. Well, I thank you very much. I'm speechless.
That was Danica Lewis.
You know, when that happened, my wife was not watching. All of a sudden, she's getting all these texts from her friends saying, "Did you see what happened to your husband?" I'm like,
That was Danica Lewis,
yeah,
fellow employee.
Oh no, that was not.
I thought
that was some random
Oh,
person.
I
in
thought that was
Philadelphia.
Danica.
Oh no,
That's surprising. That's better. That's better.
That's news to me. Holy smoke!
So you're still going to be around. People can see you're going to be doing some stuff.
Yeah. In fact, the hour after I get back from Indianapolis on Sunday, I've got an assignment with Big Ten Network about the bowl coverage. So I'll jump right into that. But I'm going to take a step back for a little bit. It's a resignation, not a retirement. And I'll be around. My wife and I are staying in town. And can I say one quick thank you?
Yeah, sure.
All the UW coaches, from Barry Alvarez, Jeff Sauer, everybody's been so great. High school athletic directors, players, coaches, parents. My family's been great. I miss so many events of our kids because of this crazy schedule you have in television. They never held it against me. I appreciate that. My wife's the best person in the whole world. This is where you start crying in these things. But she's allowing me to resign. She's supporting everything I've done. She's never complained once, and that's why she's the greatest person in my life.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
An honor to work with you.
Thank you.
I hate goodbyes. No, I have to give you all. I know. I'm such a softie.
Here, you can just wipe your tears on me.
Good luck, buddy.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
We love you, Jay.
Thank you.
Well, it's time to get your pet questions answered. The number to call 270-9933.
You thought the Danica thing was bad. Veterinarian Dr. Carrie Donahue is in the green room. She's ready to take your calls. The number, there she is. The number is 270-9933. Hi, Carrie. She's up next right after the break.
The Beltline is slowing down. East and westbound actually seeing delays. Usually the westbound side doesn't look this bad. Unfortunately, though, the slowdown stretching all the way through Park Street to John Nolan past Rimrock. Things slow down on the westbound side, but then they do pick up as you get closer to Gammon Road. Around Middleton, downtown's going slow, but 12 heading north. It looks pretty good right now around downtown Wanakee, also seeing those delays, but no accidents to report. Janesville looks okay at this time. Even around the downtown area, not as much red as usual. From Janesville to the Beltline will be 25 minutes, 16 minutes skip from Sauk City to Middleton, and Sun Prairie to downtown up to 18 minutes this evening. That's a quick look at traffic.
Thank you, Dana. The website mydogsname.com has compiled the list of the most common names for 2019 and noticed a big trend. Bella has topped the list for female dogs every year since the website was launched 10 years ago. So why is Bella so popular? Well, it picked up steam after the success of the Twilight series, the movie, and the love of that name has not dwindled. As for 2018, Daisy, Luna, Willow, and Roxy rounded out the most popular names for girls. For the boys, it was Bear, Milo, Archie, Oreo, and Bailey in the top 5. As for next year, experts predict a big influence from Frozen 2, so expect a lot of Elsa come at dog parks this coming year. Our neighbor has an Oreo, a little black and white dog. Oh. Well, we're taking your pet questions today for Dr. Carrie Donahue from the
Full Circle Holistic Veterinary Care. It's a great day to call if you have a question for Carrie because the lines are wide open. 270-9933. And you actually guessed that the most popular name was Bella.
You see a lot of Bellas?
I do see a lot of Bellas, yes.
So
it's so cute, it's popular, yeah, for a good reason.
So the holidays are coming up right around the corner, and that poses a lot of problems for pets.
Kind of does, yes. There are so many things, so many variables that kind of show up in the house as new things like ornaments, string, ribbon, tinsel, and then you even get into kind of like the baking and the cooking and all sorts of different things that can potentially cause issues if pets get
and strangers, different people in the house.
People coming in. I know, especially for animals that might be prone to certain types of anxiety, that can cause stress too, you know? So a lot of things to kind of think about and watch out for.
Do dogs have the same obsession with the Christmas tree that cats do?
Not as much.
Okay.
I don't think. Cats are just really
it's a disaster.
focused. It really is. I know.
She's speaking from experience.
Yes, I am. I am.
All right, lots of calls all of a sudden. Let's get to the phones. We'll start with Julie and Madison. Hi, Julie.
Hi there. This is so convenient. I have a dog, a boxer, that has a corneal abrasion. And I just wonder if there's anything that holistic medicine would have to offer for this. This is the third time he's had this.
Shoot, yeah, and that's something that can happen if your pet gets a little scratch on its eye. It can be pretty painful. So it's typically treated with antibiotics. Kind of in the holistic world, I usually end up using the same thing just because antibiotics work quickly and just to prevent any infection. There are other things that you can use, just kind of like lubricating drops to keep the eye healthy as it heals. But the main thing is antibiotics, and you really want to use one of those cone collars so your pet can't scratch at the eye and make it any worse.
I have one of those inflatable ones. They work a lot better than the plastic ones.
Oh, the donut collars, I really like those.
So you don't need surgery for that.
Right, you won't need surgery unless it's not healing, and that can happen where the ulcer or the abrasion gets deeper and deeper, and then that could be a surgical fix.
Okay. All right, let's go to Amber in Cross Plains. Hi, Amber, what's your question?
Hi, I have a little kitty cat who is, we're trying to move his litter box, and unfortunately he's not liking the move with the litter box. And I'm wondering if there's anything I can do to make him use it more.
That's a tough one. You know what? There is a product on the market, and it is called, it's like a cat attract that you can put on the litter box, and it actually makes cats want to use the litter box. So I think I might just look that up online, something like cat attract. It's kind of like an herbal blend, and it draws the cats to the litter box, so they're more likely to use it.
And maybe gradually move the box, or would that be a
yeah, definitely. That would be something to try too.
All right, let's go to Chad now in Portage. Hi, Chad.
Hi, how are you?
Good. What's your question?
My question is, I've got a little 12-pound Chihuahua mix, and his stomach is super sensitive. Is there anything I could do to remedy that? He will not touch pumpkin or rice.
Sensitive stomach. Yeah, you know, usually what I recommend is supplements that help support the GI tract. And probably the top supplement that I would start with would be a probiotic. And you can find probiotics that are made specifically for pets. And oftentimes I will combine the probiotic with something called a digestive enzyme. So you can find the combination, but the two of those together are really great in helping to balance out a sensitive GI tract and make it so that your dog might be able to eat different things without having issues.
All right, very good. Let's go to Jim in Janesville. Hi, Jim. What's your question?
Yes, I have a question about old dog syndrome. My dog had it about a month ago where she had almost like vertigo for humans. I was wondering what you knew about that.
I know, and it's also called vestibular disease, and it happens primarily in older dogs, and they think that it's something with the inner ear. There might be inflammation in the inner ear, but it causes signs like vertigo. So your dog might start circling, they might have a head tilt, they might be nauseous and not want to eat, just for all of those reasons. The nice thing is it usually resolves on its own without any treatment, but I usually recommend just trying to do supportive care when your pet is going through something like this. So adding in something like ginger is really nice for the nausea, so it kind of settles their stomach and makes them more likely to eat and just kind of get over the issue sooner.
Oh, that's a great tip.
All right, well, the holiday's coming. Take care of your pets and have a great time. Have a great holiday. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Great to see you, Carrie. Thank you. Thanks for your calls, everybody.
And we'll be right back with a final check of your forecast.
Wait for your roll playback.
Pretty nice for this time of year.
It really is. With the sunshine, has been really good. Temperatures have been in a good spot. Now, next week it's going to get much colder outside, but if you have to head out this evening at all, should be just fine. It is starting to get dark, though. Of course, sunset was about 20 minutes ago. Our radar is nice and quiet. Our breeze has calmed down just a wee bit in the single digits for most of the area, about 10 miles per hour for Madison. Towards Janesville at about 8 miles per hour. Notice coming from the south. That's what helped our temperatures climb so much today. We're still at 41 in Madison, 45 in Janesville, with our dew points in a very dry spot with the wind speeds calculated in I'd say it feels pretty close to where our actual temperatures are. Overnight, we fall through the 20s, landing at the low 20s or mid to low 20s for overnight lows. Looking through the rest of the week, so just Friday and the weekend, we stay above average, but heading into next week, that's when that cold snap really pops back on in. Temperatures will be well below average, and we get to see single-digit temps for overnight lows again.
You sound too happy about that.
We all miss that. Bundle up.
But look at the average high gets down to 30.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff.
Scarf.
We live in Wisconsin.
That's right. You're right.
It's December.
That's right.
It is. It very much so
All
is.
right. Thank you, Dana. Coming up tomorrow here on Live at 4, we'll preview the Joey Song concert featuring some big-name musicians.
And Michael Bruno goes backstage to check out Crass Theater's production of the play Straight White Men. That's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4.